Today we're looking at the top 20 most valuable vintage plushes out there right now. Hey, it's Don. Today we're going to look at the top 20 most valuable stuffed animals, stuffed toys, plushes that you can find out in the wild right now that are worth a lot of money.
I'm making my list, Jeffrey.
And on it's a Snuzzly Wuzzle. Each is a combination of two cuddly animals. Wuzzles just $16.97 each. New posable Wuzzles only $3.97 each at Toys R Us.
Now, one of the most valuable, sought after, that's routinely up at the top of the lists are Rushton plush animals. Most of them have rubber faces. There's tons of different varieties and styles. Now, this one right here is a 1950s pink one. The color scheme of the teddy bear itself is part of the reason this one went for so much money. There are die-hard collectors that want every single one that was made. Some of them were made very limited for certain markets or even certain stores. So some are extremely sought after, like this one here. Now here's a bunny rabbit, and this is by Rushton, and this is the Star Creations line. The label actually says Rushton Star Creations on one side, and then the standard Rushton logoed copyright marks on the other side. You want these to have the label. Ones with the label will always go for far more than the ones that have been cut off. This one sold for over $2,000. Now this one's top of the line scarce in my book. I have never seen a fish by Rushton before. The odder the animal, the more unique, the more the value will be most of the time. This one's over $1,800 for this fish. Really fine example, nice artwork, typical 1950s stylization and color schemes. Here's another Rushton from the Star Creations line. This is Sylvester Fox. A lot of them are obviously anthropomorphic animals. An animal dressed as a person. This one has a suit on. A lot of them have shoes as well. This one sold for $611. It's got some wear. It has some issues. The colors are a little faded. There's some wear to some of the paint on the eyes and such forth. It's still a very nice example, though.
How many puppies are there inside? How many? Puppy surprise, surprise, surprise! 2, 3 puppies. 2 girls and a boy. They're so sweet.
Now, many of the video game lines have a ton of plushes that are available. The older the plushes for video game lines, the more expensive they usually are. This is from Star Fox, early Nintendo. This is the whole set. $1,692 for this set here. Now, even individually, they'll go for some decent money. Now, one thing like on the silver boots and the actual metallic looking fabric, that can come off. If they're heated up or setting out in the sun, it'll crack and they'll eventually start to peel off. So ones that don't have any damage usually go for far more than the beat up ones. So condition is everything in this category here. Now, this is Super Mario Party 5. This is a promotional item for the game itself. This is one of the more scarce ones. This one went for pretty decent money. You can see these all the way up to, say, $1,000 or better. This one has some wear, some spotting. The hat has some cracking to the M for Mario as well. So it isn't in perfect condition. Had this been much better in condition, it could have went for double this price. Now, Pokemon has been hot for a very long time. Here's an early Tommy Heartland labeled Pokemon. Now, this very same character with a different label made from a different company, even if it looks almost identical, won't be worth nearly as much. Just like many of the other plushes, the name, the company that made the plush is super important. That's why having the label on these is key, because without the label, some people may not be able to tell the difference between the expensive one and the cheaper, non-valuable one as well. This one went for $1,475. This is a Digimon one here. This is from Bandai from 2000. Now, Bandai made a bunch of toys, actual physical toys, action figures and things like that. So it is one of the brands that has been highly collected for a very long time. This one went for over $700.
My pet monster.
He's bigger than big.
When he fights battles, he always wins.
And he's your friend, too.
He breaks his chains.
Put him on you and break away, too.
With my pet monster, you're busting loose.
Now, another brand that's highly collected is My Pet Monster. Now, if they're in the box, they can go for some phenomenal money, $5,000 or $10,000 I've seen for some of the scarcer My Pet Monsters. There's many different versions of them. I think a half a dozen of the standard ones were first released, and then several more after that. There are some as well that I have seen from other countries that do not look identical to what ours do either. That goes for many of the toys I am showing you here today. Scarce one, as you can see by the price, over $1,500. Another My Pet Monster, Beaster. This one has the handcuffs with it. I believe most of them had handcuffs or some sort of accessories. I have found just the handcuffs and been able to sell those for a few $100s, depending on the version of the handcuffs you have, obviously. Either way you look at it, this one went for over $1,200. Excellent condition. This is a prime example, one of the most sought-after versions of the My Pet Monster. Now, Disney has quite a few that do sell for some decent money. Most of them sell anywhere from, say, $30 to $100, $125 on average, but there are some that are extremely scarce and were limited in production and only released at very specific places. Disney Store was notorious for only releasing certain ones there and nowhere else. Disneyland had some. They had some promotional ones, actually, when the show was released as well. This is from Bolt, and the actual tag says Bolt on him. He's holding Mr. Carrot as well. Most of these do go for hundreds of dollars. This one sold for over $600 with multiple bids also. And here's another very well sought after one. This is Einstein from Oliver & Company. Now, Oliver & Company wasn't a huge major success compared to the other ones, so they didn't pump out the toys left and right, and if it wasn't a main character, they were limited in production to begin with. So that's why this Einstein plush here goes for some decent money. It is one of those ones that just doesn't turn up every day.
Puff a little closer, baby mine. Puff a lump and be my little clinging vine. Like to feel your cheeks so rosy. Puff a lump, you're comfy, cozy. 'Cause I love from head to toesy.
The Puff-a-Lumps, lovable lumps of snuggly stuff.
Puff a lump, mine.
Only from Fisher-Price.
Now, if you stick around to the very end after the credits, I have a few bonus ones to show you also for things that you may not even have thought are out there right now. This one here is a Borg felt Walt Disney's Mickey Mouse from the 30s. This one is complete with the label. It actually has the hanging tag card label with it. Looks like it was probably just set in a box somewhere. No one probably played with this one. I have not seen one of these in my life in this good condition other than in the price guide. $1,500+ as you can see. That is why this one sold for so much. The condition is just phenomenal. Now, believe it or not, Build-A-Bear has a few that are worth some pretty decent money. Now, they are scarce. Most of the ones that I see that are valued in these price ranges here have come from another country. They were limited in production. This one's from South Africa. Now, Build-A-Bear collectors are just crazy about getting every one they can. So if somebody traveled, it is highly likely they would have picked one up over there and brought it back. So they do show up in collections, even these scarce ones. But if you don't know they make these sorts of things, you can easily miss them. This one sold for over $900. Here's another one from Build-A-Bear. This is Precious Pink. It's a patchwork puppy. Interesting. It is a cute one, I have to say. $710. Many of them are retired again. Some of them were issued only in certain countries. Some of them were scarcely issued here in this country as well. There's not a ton of Build-A-Bear that are worth a lot of money, but as you see, there are some. So they're still worth looking for also. Now here's a small set from Boyd's Bears. They have some that are retired, some special ones. They do have some, though, that were only issued very specifically in limited quantity for Easter or some other holidays. This is a set of 3 with Easter sweaters, eggs on 2 of them, and a Happy Easter on the 3rd one. This is a set of 3. Even singly, these will still go for some decent money. Boyd's Bears makes a ton of different bear styles. They make vintage style ones, jointed ones, little plushes. They even make hard and resin ones as well. They sell them across the country. Even some restaurants sell them also. $910 for this lot here.
It's fun to have a Chiggles around because Chiggles giggle at most any sound. Chubbles and Chiggles, perfect friends for you.
Cause when Chubbles giggles and Chiggles, Chiggles giggle too.
Each sold separately from Animal Fair.
Just like the other ones, Care Bears also had some that were only released in certain areas of the globe. This one is from the UK. This is Proud Heart Cat Care Bear. It's a cousin of the Care Bear. The cousins were the ones that weren't bears, they were other animals, and that was the gist of it. They could expand the market from just selling bears, so people that weren't into bears could actually buy one as well and like the characters. So, interesting one here, $590. Now, there are replacement parts you can find on the net for these. So if the nose is damaged, the eyes are damaged, or something like that, they can be replaced. So you got to be a little careful with finding ones in these higher prices because people can repair some of them. Now here's another one from the UK, another Care Bear. This is Astro Boy. There's an Astro Boy on the front. It's a very popular Japanese character. There's been a movie over here also. This is a 1980s original. As I said, some of these imports, ones only released overseas, are the ones that you want. That goes for many, many toys, whether they're action figures or plushes. And as you can see, it went for over $1,000. Now here's a pretty cute one. This is Little Twin Stars from 1976. Now this is from Sanrio. They've been around for a very long time. They actually do the Hello Kitties that are usually the ones that cost the most. Nice example here, $660. Excellent condition in all honesty. Now here's one you could find and not even know what you have. This is an Elvis one. It was a promotional item for one of the summer tours that they had. I believe in the late 50s, early 60s, or somewhere in that range. Now I have seen this one without the actual Elvis strip on there. It's just a ribbon that could be unstitched or ripped off or anything else like that. So if somebody wanted to give it as just a plush and not worry about the Elvis part, you might see it removed. It is still worth some decent money even without the Elvis on there. But of course, as you can see, as issued with the ribbon, it went for over $600.
Gremlins, gremlins, bite after bite. What a tasty way to satisfy a gremlin appetite.
Well, there we have it. Hopefully that gave you some ideas, some thoughts. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button down below. You can also hit the bell icon to be notified if I post new content or go live. Subscribe and tell all your friends.
It's an alien.
No kidding. Where?
It's living in America.
I like what they've done with the place.
It loves cats.
Can't get enough of them.
It's Alf, and now it's everywhere.
He's debonair, and yet fuzzy.
My parents just don't understand our relationship. I mean, this whole cat thing's been blown all out of proportion. Alf.
Alf, alien life form, new from Coleco.
Now, for those of you who stuck it out to the end, I have a few bonus ones here for you. This is Strawberry Shortcake's Pets, little plushes from Strawberry Shortcake line. These are marketed as standalones, as you can see here. Individual loose ones can go for a few $100s on their own. This set of 3 went for $661. Now here's another unique one here. This is a prototype Care Bear 13-inch one here. Now the few prototypes that I've actually had the pleasure of seeing in person had hand-painted eyes and a painted nose. So that is one way to tell. Obviously somebody could fake those or paint over them, but the bear itself can't be reproduced in the same quality or standards as the original ones. They were factory made for the most part. Some may have a label, others may not. It just depends on what the factory did. Sometimes it's a generic label just so they know, may have a number on it or something, or no label at all. These were given out to toy distributors and things like that. People who worked for the company also. So there are some of these out there. They do turn up. There has been some that turned up in just a regular collection as well. Price-wise, $5,000 for this one here. And this last one here is Angel Bunny. It's got actually a pretty cute face, I have to say. It reminds me of a little puppy dog face. This one came out in the 80s. This is an original one. Many of these, there's only a few known examples. There could be many more out there, though. Most people don't pay a lot of attention to plushes, nor do they assume that they can sell for prices up to $4,000 like this one here.
You can save a little lost and found. The woods can be so cold and alone, especially for babies who have no home. You can save a little lost and found.
Come live with me.
You'll dry their tears and give them a home. You can save a little lost
Poor
and found.
baby. I'll feed you.
Feed them, love them, never leave them.
Dry their real tears and give them their bottles. Love a Lost and Found, each sold separately from Loupe.